Hi everyone, in this video we will be going through question number 2 in the May-June 2024 paper variant 2.1, and this question covers the topic correction of errors. This is an excellent question for anyone who's trying to revise the lesson correction of errors, because this question covers areas like the journal entries which we will use to correct errors, different types of errors, and how errors affect profit and also the bank balance for the period. So let's get started. So the question gives us some information. It says that Paul is a trader. He maintains a 3-column cash book. Paul has prepared draft financial statements for the year ended 31st March 2024, and there are 5 errors given. Let's see part A. Part A, we are supposed to prepare the journal entries to correct the errors. Let's go back and take a look at error 1. It says a purchase invoice $140 had been debited to the account for office equipment. So generally, when there is a purchase invoice, that means you have purchased goods, maybe on credit or maybe on cash. So let's assume that it was on credit. The correct entry would be a debit to the purchases account and a credit to the trade payables account. Because purchase is an expense which is increasing, so debit purchases. Trade payables is a liability, so it's credited. But instead of doing this, what you have done is you have debited the office equipment account. So debit office equipment and credit trade payables. This is the right entry, but this is the wrong one. So how do you correct this? We can ignore the credit entries because it's the same. So we have to get rid of the incorrect debit entry that you have made to the office equipment account. So in order to do that, we will have to pass a credit entry to the office equipment account, and we will have to debit purchases. So error number 1, debit purchases 140 and credit office equipment 140. This is an error of principle because you have used the correct amount and the entries are passed to the correct side, but to the wrong class of accounts. What do I mean by class of accounts? So see, purchases is an expense account and office equipment is an asset account. So correct amount, correct side, but wrong class of accounts. Error number 2, cash discount received $18 had been recorded in the bank payments column of the cash book. So discount received is an income, so you credit it to the discount received account and you debit the trade payables account, because it's when you settle your trade payables that you receive a discount, cash discounts. But what you have done is, instead of crediting discount received, you have credited bank payments. That means you have credited the bank account. This is the right one, this is the wrong one. So you can ignore the debit entries because you have passed the right entry for that. But you have to get rid of the credit entry made to the bank account. And to do that, you have to debit the bank account and you have to credit discount received, because we have to increase income by $18. So error number 2, debit bank 18, credit discount received 18. The third error, carriage inwards $82 had been credited to carriage outwards account. Both carriage inwards and carriage outwards are expense accounts. So the right entry is debit to carriage inwards, but what you have done is you have credited carriage outwards. So we have to get rid of this carriage outwards credit entry, and also we have to pass a debit entry to carriage inwards. This is the right one, this is the wrong one. So we will debit carriage inwards and we will also have to debit carriage outwards to get rid of the wrong entry. So Error number 3, debit carriage inwards 82, debit carriage outwards 82. So in order to make sure that it balances, we will open a new account called the suspense account, to which we will pass the credit entry, $164. Remember, suspense account is a temporary account used to correct errors, and this particular error is an error that affects the trial balance. So we will open the suspense account. Error number 4, a payment for insurance, $375, had been debited to the bank account and credited to the insurance account. So when you pay for insurance, insurance is an expense, so you debit insurance and you credit bank because bank amount is decreasing because you're paying. But instead of doing this, what you have done is you have debited bank and credited insurance. So in order to remove the wrong entries, you will have to debit insurance by 375 and credit bank by 375. But that's not enough. That will only cancel the wrong entries. You will have to debit insurance again by 375 to pass the right entry and credit bank by 375. So basically you double the amount. So this is the right one, this is the wrong one. To correct that, you will debit insurance by 750, double the amount, and credit bank by 750. The last one, bank receipts column of cash book for February 2024 had been undercasted by $90. This is pretty straightforward. So we have to increase the bank receipts column, the amount in the bank receipts column, by 90. So you have to debit bank by 90. And the other entry will be a credit to the suspense account by 90. So with that, we are done with part A. Part B, we are supposed to calculate the corrected bank balance at 31st March 2024. And the original balance is given, which is 3,290. So first we have to see as to what errors affect the bank balance. So for that, we can go back to the journal entries we prepared. The first error, there is no entry made to the bank account, so we can ignore that. But the second one has a debit entry in the bank account. That means we have to increase the bank balance by 18. So error number 2, add 18. Then error number 3 again has nothing to do with bank. But 4, yes. There is a credit made to the bank account, $750. That means you have to deduct 750 because it's a credit. So error 4 minus 750. Last one, there was a debit to the bank of $90. That means we have to increase the bank balance by $90. So error number 5, increase 90. Then we can sum it up and find the new balance, the corrected balance, which is $2,648. So part B is done. The last section, we have to prepare the corrected profit for the year. We have to calculate the corrected profit for the year. And we are given with the original profit figure, which is 9,268. Just like in part B, we will have to go through the journal entries and figure out what errors affect the profit. How do you calculate profit? Profit is income minus expenses. So if there is an income account or an expense account affected, then we will adjust for it. So let's take a look at the first one. There was a debit to the purchases account of 140 and a credit to the office equipment account of 140. Purchases account is an expense account, office equipment account is an asset account. So there is an entry made to an expense account, which means we will have to adjust it in the profit. So we have to change the profit figure, which means purchases increased by 140 and purchases is an expense. So expense increasing will reduce the profit. So we have to deduct 140. The second one, there was a debit to the bank account, which is an asset account. So it has nothing to do with profit, but there was a credit to the discount received account. Discount received is an income. Income credited means there was an increase in the discount received account. Increase in income. So we will have to add it to the profit. So you add $18. Error number 2. Third one, carriage inwards was debited by 82 and carriage outwards was debited by 82. Both are expense accounts and it was a debit entry. That means expenses increased, which means we have to reduce profits by 164 because it's 82 plus 82. So error number 3, deduct profit by 164. Fourth one, insurance was debited by 750, bank was credited by 750, and insurance is an expense account. So expenses increase by 750 because it's a debit entry. Expense increasing means we will have to reduce the profit by 750. So error number 4, minus 750. Last one, bank account and suspense account. There is no expense or income account involved, so we can ignore that. You will get 8,232 as your new profit figure. With that, we come to the end of that question. I hope you understood everything. Thank you for watching.